What a mess.
It'll take ages to clear this lot up.
Well, considering only half the people turned up, they seem to have left twice as much rubbish.
Aye, and it's amazing what some people leave behind them.
It's taught me a lesson, Seth.
Let's hope it taught her a lesson and all.
I should never get involved with things I don't understand. She agreed, really. I were planning a trip round the world with me profits.
And that'd have been nice.
Aye, well, we'd be lucky to get to Blackpool on what we made last night.
Might not be that bad, Betty. There were quite a few people here.
Well, whatever it is, as soon as Pollard sends me that cheque, it's going straight into post office, and I've finished being a pot promoter from now on.
Well, I can't say I'm sorry to hear that, even though I'm still involved in World of Entertainment.
Well, classic gardening forums hardly on the same scale as Woodstock, Seth.
You'll not be disappointed, Betty. I'm going to show some of these so-called experts a thing or two.
Glad to hear it. I could do with something to cheer me up.
Do even better. I'll take it to Woolpack for a pint and a pie after.
You know how to show a girl a good time.
I can afford it now. I've got my domino winnings, I've got my fee from Classic Gardening Forum, and I'll soon be back at Game Farm. Life never looked better.
And what did the police say?
Well, it's like I told you last night. They said there's not a lot they can do. I mean, we can't prove it was the Dingles.
Well, everyone knows that.
Yes, but whatever the reason, I still don't think there's much they can do. Not unless the Dingles go beyond threats and vandalism.
By then it could be too late.
Exactly. So, before this situation escalates, we have to consider our options. Whether we want to stay in Emmerdale at all.
There's no question of that.
It'd be running away, and that'd be like admitting Luke was guilty.
He wasn't.
Well, that's what people are going to think if we can't face up to them.
Well, if you're that ashamed of me, maybe I'd better go and the rest of you stay.
We're not ashamed of you, Luke. We only want what's best for you. And whatever we decide, we do it together.
Well, if we're being democratic about this, my vote says we stay.
And mine?
Yeah, well, I don't think this is the sort of thing we do on a show of hands. No, we've got to think this through properly.
Morning, Kim.
It's about time they got something organised with that shop.
Oh, it's not been easy for them, has it? What with Sarah and the baby being in hospital.
They're back today, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I must have a word. I don't want to be unsympathetic, but it's bad for the image of the place. Makes us look inefficient. Oh, Nick, have you got the fields organised for the motorbike rally?
Nearly. I've just got to mow them and roll them.
Well, it should have all been done by now.
Kim, they don't need to be ready until next week.
I've got exhibitors coming in all the time. I'd like them to get the right impression.
All right, I'll get it sorted.
Good. Oh, and could you put some cut flowers round at Home Farm? I want the place to look nice when Frank gets home later.
Pleasure. It's good to see him back.
Yeah. Mind you, he'll be convalescing for a few months, so you'll still be working to me.
I'm not afraid of that.
Good to be back.
She looks well, not a care in the world. Shall I take her?
No, I'd rather she stayed with me. I don't really like to let her out of my sight now.
I don't have to go back to school this afternoon. I can have the whole day off.
What do you reckon, Sarah?
Well, maybe just this once.
Oh, it's good to have all the family together again. And with Ma and Joe in Spain, we might even get a chance to talk.
Oh, spoke too soon. Sounds like they've got the first flight back.
Yeah, neither of them at knock.
We should have to go back to hospital.
Oh, I hope not, Robert. We still all have to be very careful with her.
Hello, Robert. I won't stay. I just brought this little gift for baby Victoria.
Oh.
Isn't she beautiful? Could I hold her for a minute?
I'd rather you didn't just at the moment.
No, right. Some other time, perhaps. Oh, I've brought this for her as well. It's a herbal tonic. I make it myself, but it's the same one my mother used to give us when we were little.
Very kind.
My pleasure. Well, I won't stay. I can see you have things to do. Will I be seeing you later at the village hall? Classic garden forum. Oh, Seth's like a dog with two tails. He wants everybody to be there.
Well, we'll do our best.
Right. Bye, Robert. See you.
What do you think? I'm sure Jan would babysit for an hour.
Oh, you go if you want. I'd rather stay with Victoria.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. It's a bit too soon.
You tip that stuff down the sink as well.
I'm sure it's harmless.
It was medical science that saved her, Jack. I'm not going to pour some witch's brew down her now.
Oh, Betty meant it for the best. You sure you're not just being overprotective?
She almost died, Jack. I'm not prepared to take any risks with her now.
Scott! Yes, miss? I was talking to your form teacher recently. He's a bit worried you haven't been keeping up too well this term.
I'm sorry, miss.
It's all right. You're not on the carpet. I was just wondering if it had anything to do with the robbery. You've had quite a year, haven't you?
Yeah, my mum goes into court next week. I think we'll all be glad when it's all over.
Yes. So if there's anything I can do, I'd be only too glad to help. You probably know Luke's had his own problems with the courts lately.
Yeah, I had a talk with him.
Oh, what did he say? I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry. I've just been wondering if people have been picking on him, that's all.
I don't know. Is that it? I'm due in the chemistry lab.
Yes, Scott, that's all. Off you go.
Hi, Sarah. Welcome back.
Hi, Kim.
How's the baby?
Oh, she's much better, thanks. How's Frank?
Well, I'm just on my way to pick him up. So, life will be getting back to normal soon. For us all. I don't want to rush you, but I'd be grateful if you could give some thought to the farm shop. We've been losing an awful lot of business down there.
Are you saying it's my fault?
No, of course not. But if there are problems, perhaps you and Jack might consider getting someone to work there full-time. Dolores is a great worker, but she can only do it outside school hours. I'm sorry if it seems insensitive, but if we don't organise something soon, we'll have missed the best months of the season.
Kim, I don't give a damn about the farm shop. I've got more important things to worry about.
Yes, well, perhaps I'd better talk to Jack.
Yeah, you do that.
Morning. Morning. That's Seth. Oh. Hello, Alan.
Eric, I wanted to have a word with you.
Oh, yeah?
I'm really dreading this trial next week. Viv Windsor tried to persuade me not to go. She said I ought to forget about Shirley's murder, that life has to go on and all that. I mean, what do you think? I always admired the way you coped with Elizabeth's death.
What was really important to me was knowing exactly what happened. It made me feel closer to her somehow.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Eric. You've made up my mind for me. I will go to court next week.
Goodbye. I think you made the right decision. And just remember, if you need any support, you just have to call. That's what friends are for, eh?
Yeah.
Well, if it's agreeable with you, we'll get a contract drawn up for you to sign.
Thanks.
It's going to be quite a rush to get things organised.
Well, I'm not afraid of hard work.
Glad to hear it. But I've already made inquiries about getting some birds brought in. So, shouldn't give us any problems.
Good.
So it'll be up to you to get the game farm itself ready on time. I take it you can start straight away.
Well, I'd just like to get some things sorted out first.
I thought you were out of work. You don't have to give notice to another employer, do you?
No. I just thought you ought to speak to Seth Armstrong about it.
Oh, right. Yes, that might be a good idea. He's got years of experience, including every dodge and shortcut in the book. So don't let him teach you any bad habits. Hi, Nick. Do you know Nick Bates, our gardener?
Yeah.
Aye.
David will be taking over as gamekeeper when we reopen the game farm.
Oh, right.
Be a good idea if you two went up there together. Assess the work to be done.
Yeah, of course.
Right, I'll leave you to organise that. I've got to get to the hospital and collect Frank. You sorted the flowers out?
Yeah.
Good. See you later.
So, you're taking over Seth's job, are you?
Look, you don't have to say anything. I feel bad enough about it already. It's not my fault. I needed the work.
Does he know yet?
No. I was going to tell him this afternoon.
Oh, well, do me a favour, will you, and wait until after the radio show. Don't want to spoil his moment of glory now, do we?
Betty?
Oh. Hello, Eric. Are you going to the village hall?
No, I can't. Pressure of work, but I'm glad I ran into you. Saves me posting this. It's the finalised accounts for the concert.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you saved the stamp. It'll probably double our profits.
Rather more serious than that, Betty. Hardly worth joking about.
No, well, I mean, I know not as many people turned up as we expected.
And a lot that did come, they demanded their money back, and their invoices still to be paid. Plus a bill for extra policing and a claim from Rasputin's Nightmares for damages to equipment. I've itemised it all. Please, go through it before you send me your cheque, eh?
Oh, I've already sent you my cheque.
That wouldn't cover the solicitor's fees for dealing with the Rasputin group.
You expect me to pay you 19,000?
I'm trying to keep it down to that.
You never told me there was a possibility of something like this happening.
That's business for you. I don't suppose he'd be complaining if it was 19,000 profit.
I haven't got this sort of money.
I am prepared to give you a few weeks to raise it if you think it will help. Couldn't you sell something?
Trusted you, Eric. I see now that was a mistake.
Well, I'm sorry you take it that way.
You will be. You're not getting another penny out of me.
You have signed a legally binding agreement, and willingly or not, I'm going to make sure you keep to it.
Glad to be home.
Yeah. Bit nervous.
Oh?
I didn't enjoy being at the hospital much, but being surrounded with all that technology, at least you know they're ready for everything.
We're only a short drive away. I had a long talk with the doctor, and he's sure you just need a few months' convalescence and you'll be back to your old self. Come on.
Betty, thought you'd have been here ages ago. Front row seat.
Something came up.
Are you all right?
Don't want to talk about it, Jack. Don't want to spoil Seth's day.
Got more bad news. Ned Glover's got something to tell him as well.
I'm Stefan Bochatsky, and this week the Classic Gardening Forum team and I are in the village hall at Emmerdale in West Yorkshire as guests of the Hotton and District Allotment Society. And to answer their questions, we have Fred Downham of Lancaster, Sue Phillips from Chichester, Daphne Ledward of Spalding, and a special welcome to our local gardening expert and raconteur, Seth Armstrong. Well, in the first part of the programme, we shall be taking questions on general gardening and on local problems, so I'll just set the scene. And the climate up here can't be said to do gardeners many favours. It's been described as bleak, cold and windswept, and that's just the summers. And I think this is probably illustrated by our first question. Yes, please.
Bernard McAllister. Since we moved up here from the south nearly a year ago, we've tried to buy hardy plants to cope with the cold, but we seem to be losing a lot of them.
Right, well, this seems to be one for you, Fred.
What are you asking him for? He's from Lancashire. They don't know about cricket, they ain't near my gardening. This is a question for a local man.
This might be a bleak part of the country, but a nice, warm Yorkshire welcome certainly makes up for it.
Yep, just leave it with me. Bye now.
I'm sorry. This is a lot of extra work for you.
I'm not complaining.
You've got enough on your plate running the business, looking after me. How is the Heritage Farm at Holiday Village?
I've got absolutely no intention of telling you. You're not supposed to be thinking about work, remember?
A little progress report wouldn't do any harm.
Except you couldn't listen without making a few suggestions. And we both know where that would lead. I am quite capable of keeping the ship on course. So you'll just have to learn to trust me.
You're one of the people I do trust.
And we all know where that can lead to.
You're right. We got all the time in the world.
It's a late flower and a medium late fruiter. It's beautiful flavour, doesn't keep all that well, but the crop's heavy, so try that one.
Thank you, Daphne. And Fred, please, you'll have to be fairly swift because we're getting a bit short of time.
Oh, I like plump and white transparent. It flowers late, fruit's a bit early. Doesn't store very well, but of course you could also make it into fruit pies and store it in the freezer for winter.
Ah, but when all got a freezer. And who wants fruit pies any road? I'll tell you what to do with your fruit. Make applejack. That's a right brew.
Well, that's very interesting, Seth, but
And
quite
it's
honestly...
legal and all. It's against law to operate a still in a Britannic Majesty's realm, but they can't touch you for this.
Well, that is fascinating. Now,
I
the
got this
panellists
tip
on
off a
this...
Canadian, and they know all about cold winters up there, you know.
have been Fred Downham, Sue
Trick
Phillips...
is- Trick is, every time you remove a layer of ice, alcoholic content goes up.
And Seth Armstrong.
Me and Jess Springett, we made 3 barrels one winter, and by February, it would have 100% fruit.
Next week, classic gardening...
A full weekend at Easter week. Jess got that legless, he tickled that at first, and didn't feel a thing, because it was that relaxed.
Well, thank you, Seth. I think we can honestly say we've never had a panellist quite like you before.
Oh, well done, Seth. You were marvellous.
I didn't realise you were such an expert, Seth.
Well, I've given your wife quite a few tips. You ought to come down to my allotment and you can have benefit of my advice.
Can I have a word, Seth?
Are you wanting my advice and all?
Aye, in a way. It's a bit more than that. Kim Tate's offered me your old job up on Game Farm. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna take it.
Home farm. Oh, hello, Seth. No, I'm afraid you can't talk to Frank. He's resting and I don't want him disturbed. He's just got out of hospital, Seth, and he doesn't want to be bothered about anything to do with the business. Well, if you want to discuss the game farm, you're going to have to talk to me.
We know how you feel, but you've still got your job at the Heritage Farm. I mean, it's not such long hours or such hard work.
And you think I'm taught to be a gamekeeper and all?
No, I just reckon that you can spend more time out and about, enjoy yourself. That's what life's all about.
I enjoy being a gamekeeper. That were my life.
I appreciate that. I want to learn from you. I like to think that I could come to you for advice.
I've given enough good advice for one day.
Well, maybe when you've had time to think about it, you might change your mind.
We don't want to fall out with you about this, Seth. It's not our fault.
No, I don't blame you, Ned. It's her. Kim Tate, she's at bottom of this. This had never happened if Frank Tate hadn't been in hospital.
Well, she seems to be in charge now.
I'm enjoying every minute of it, bossing me and Nick around. She was only secretary before he married her. Anyway, he's back now, so we'll see what happens. And you'll be too sure about getting my job. Frank Tate's back, and he might have different ideas. Shouldn't even let me talk to Frank.
No, we've both been badly treated, sir.
Isn't the sort of celebration we planned.
Well, I've only got myself to blame. I were too greedy. Should have known better at my age.
But he must have lost money in Sen. You were in it together.
I don't know. I mean, that's what it was supposed to be, but it was me signing papers, signing cheques. I never saw him do any.
Oh, now you're saddled with a bill for 19,000. I suppose you'll have to sell it field now. It's the only way you'll raise money.
He had it all planned. He wanted the concert to fail.
Very rotten looking.
Sit down. We'll get nowhere by losing our tempers.
Can't let him get away with that.
We won't. But with people like Eric Pollard and Kim Tate, you've got to learn to fight cunning with cunning.
The punch-up knows will be quicker.
Patience, Seth. They'll regret crossing us. You'll see.
I feel I'm not in charge of my own life anymore. Everything is governed by doctor's orders. Take your pills, take it easy, don't get stressed. A lot of don'ts. And you know how I don't like that word. The one thing that kept me going was knowing that I was coming out to you. I'd start thinking about the wedding and then I'd cheer up again. Now I realize how much life is going to change for you, as well as me. How much I'm going to depend on you to look after me and run the business. It's all going to be on your shoulders now. And I don't have the right to assume that everything is going to be okay.
What are you trying to say, Frank?
I love you more than ever. But I can't hold you to a promise that you made before all this happened. So I have to ask you, do you still want to take this rather old man to be your lawful wedded husband?
Of course I do. I only wanted to say that I thought it might be a good idea if we postpone the wedding till you're feeling better.
Yes. Then I can concentrate on getting my strength up for the big day. Whenever it is. It'll give me an incentive to stick to these damn doctor's orders. Thanks. Knowing it's all going to be okay between us is the best tonic I could have.